Hey everybody, what the flick? Gotham episode 7, Penguin's umbrella, Francis, Bibbs, Alonso. Let's have a look.
Hello everyone, my name is Victor Zaz. I'm here for Jim Gordon. Jim!
There are 50 cops in here. Try something.
So much shooting, so much stabbing.
Turns out just what the show needed.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, this episode is leaps and I liked last week's just fine, but like this is leaps and bounds. This is if they can keep this up, this is the show.
A literal shot in the arm. Thank you.
It was by far the best episode, I think, of the season.
Oh,
so
yeah,
far.
yeah. It's just things moved. They moved so quickly that even when they were kind of silly or didn't make sense, it didn't even matter anymore because the episode just kept chugging along. Like it opened with like a big fight between Bullock and Gordon. Thank you. It opened with a big fight, and then it ended up with Gordon shooting guys in his apartment, and then nuns were chained up in the street, and Oswald Cobblepot's playing everyone like a umbrella, I guess. But like, it's so eventful and fun and unexpected and great.
Is it just me, or did it remind you of something like the scene in The Dark Knight when the Joker had everyone tied up in the huge high flat when they had all the clowns actually dressed? Oh wait, they had to say the doctors as prisoners. Yeah. Basically, like, and it kind of put that confusing aspect. The way he just manipulated everyone in that scene is the way I thought Cobblepot was manipulating everyone throughout the whole episode. I mean, I had we talked about this ridiculous theory about Cobblepot being the Joker, even though he has that aspect of him where can just manipulate everyone so easily throughout the season so far, and that's why I loved it, because we focused just on him in this episode with other different parts.
I mean, I think obviously it strained a little bit the notion of Gordon being shot to shit and then like, oh no, I'm back up now and I'm just gonna limp a little, you know.
It's just a flesh wound.
Exactly. That was like, okay, calm down, everybody. But the build up to that and everything after it, I thought was really terrific. Zaz's standoff at the police station, the fact that no one is gonna get between him and Gordon.
Yeah. There's all these great moments that
Brotherhood of Blue or no.
Right. No,
like so bad for Bishop McKenzie. He just stood there and he's like, 50 cops, do something, and everyone's like, leave?
It was like this Kaiser Soze moment. All you need is the will to do anything. You just walk into a police station and say, I want that guy. You should go. We're gonna cut off his hands or something. And it's just, everyone's just like, oh crap, okay.
Fire drill.
But like even everything else, like there's the standoff in Gordon's apartment where the two thugs have to take him in alive, but Gordon shoots him anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's just taking the safety off of the show. The whole nun thing. My favorite bit in the episode was with the two thugs who were going to get beat up or shot, and they get an option.
Yeah.
And they debate. Well, like, no, we get the message. We'll just tell Sal Maroni, like, oh, well,
talking about that scene, that was the only nitpick I had from the episode. Why would you have a massive truck with your name on it, Maroni, carry all your weapons, so that when they pull it across, they know
not to do a heist on that
true,
truck.
But if you're
I'm sure it's part of his legitimate sanitation business.
Yes. If you're a rival gang, I mean, you'd at least try and hide your guns in a way that you can sneak it across, not a massive truck that says Maroni, so when they catch it.
But it doesn't say Maroni's gun supply. It says, Maroni's linen and whatever,
Yeah.
I love the whole notion of Gordon filling out warrants for the arrest of the mayor and for Maroni, and almost pulling off the actual arrest, except for the fact that they kind of kidnapped his girlfriend.
Yeah. Barbara! Why did you have to come back? I mean,
Barbara, God damn it. Well-intentioned, but geez. The moment for me that didn't work was...
muffins, of course.
Yeah.
Well, the moment for me that didn't work was when Gordon and Bullock and Crispus Allen and Renee Montoya, they go to the Wayne residence. And at first I was like, oh, this makes sense. He's the only ally they have. Yeah. He's rich beyond measure, and everyone's going to underestimate this kid. He could do anything to help them. He could give them money. He could, whatever, resources, anything they need. I just wanted to let you know I'm not going to be on the case anymore. They're going to fulfill my ancient promise to you. And that's it. I'm like, Bruce Wayne just like, what do you need? I'm like, nothing.
More often than not, I really feel like Bruce Wayne has no purpose on this show.
Yeah.
I really, again,
well, they could have given him one. That's what's
sure, yeah, absolutely. But I really feel like these are his years in the wilderness. And like they keep touching back because it's like they want to keep reminding us, no, this is a Batman show, really. But it's getting strong enough in the other areas where it doesn't have to be a Batman show.
Well, it feels like a Batman show because the Penguin is, there's that theory that the Penguin is the Joker just because he's so badass.
Yeah.
What if the Penguin is just badass? Like that's just the theory.
Yeah, we get an interesting Penguin out of this.
This is a
version.
great villain that
Yeah.
they've turned. The Penguin has never been this interesting a villain before. I'm going to say it flat out. I love Batman Returns. I love the animated series. I love some of his comics, but geez, great
Burgess
manipulator.
Meredith, hello.
Burgess Meredith is Burgess Meredith.
Talking about people being badass, it could come out that Alfred happens to be the guy who teaches Bruce Wayne on how to fight because he just gets a police officer and rams him up against the window as if, like, even you see it was Renee and Montoya, they went to go into the Wayne residence. Alfred slams him up to the window and is like, is this guy your friend? As if he suddenly became this protector badass. But when they go actually into the house, I thought that scene was very forced again, bringing Bruce Wayne into it just because you need to bring him in. And I thought his relationship with Gordon was a little weird for me. Like, you go and hug him straight away when he generally hasn't. We haven't seen much of them two connecting other than him
never
being
went
a
fishing or anything. There's no bonding here. Yeah.
I thought that was a little forced.
I think Fish Mooney it continues to be interesting. I'm kind of digging her as a character. I like. It's cool now that her duplicity has been revealed. That she and Nikolai, have been conspiring, and so now that Nikolai's out of the way, what that leaves her vulnerable.
I think Fish Mooney is more interesting when she's not on the offensive. When she's trying to squirm her way out of something like she was in the pilot, then she's like really great. She's like a caged animal and you don't want to mess with her. But when she's like in charge, she just goes full Eartha Kitt. And it's not as interesting.
I don't mind that so much. I do find it more interesting when we don't have to talk about her muffin lady, her planted, Maroni girlfriend thing. That I'm still waiting to pay off. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, she's chewing the scenery a little, but I think this is the kind of show that allows for that sort of thing.
A little bit. I just feel like there needs to be a bit more going on to warrant it.
At the point when Falcone let Gordon go, I was thinking, you're not a gangster. Like, you're not a Don if you're just going to let him go like that easily. But then we find out at the end of the episode that it's actually through Cobblepot's request. So that was good, because that was the point when I was like, right, it's really badass show at this point. I'm believing everything, but I would not believe that a Mafia Don, who's apparently the leader of the city, would just let them go unscathed with anything like that. But then you find out that Cobblepot's actually got him on a string as well.
It's all part of the plan.
It's all
Well, I mean, if you're going to do a show where you are basically, that's the prequel problem, is that there's certain characters that cannot be killed, or that have to proceed in a certain way. I think at least this show is acknowledging, okay, we have to keep Jim Gordon alive. Why? And now they're giving us these reasons why it's convenient or it's manipulative or it's whatever that he be allowed to remain this paragon of virtue in a city with none.
But even beyond the prequel problem, which is a very legitimate point, but I feel like this ending really changes the dynamic of the show in a way that's very refreshing, because I think one of the issues with a lot of genre shows is that they try to maintain a status quo for so long. Again, it happened on Smallville. We're not going to get out of Monster of the Week no matter how much the story is fighting us. Here, we have within like 6 episodes, 7 maybe, everything got shifted around. And now Falcone, who everyone was looking at as sort of like this old man who's gonna, I never really bought that, but just to see how in control he's always been, how confident he is, and how much he is going to manipulate everything. Seeing the Penguin go from snitch to kind of surreptitiously Richard III running Gotham.
Yeah, there's a lot of Sun Tzu going on here, I think.
Like they've really changed everything around in a way that I still find a lot of the standalone actual A-plots kind of frustrating. But again, this undercurrent, this element of the show, this is what I love about Gotham. This is when Gotham just sings. I thought it was really fun.
So I was going to ask you a question. What do you think about their portrayal of Victor Zsasz? Because for me, he's one of my favorite villains throughout the comic books. But they don't. Sometimes he's portrayed like in a different. He's got blonde hair in some of the comic books. He's like a lot buffer. But in this, so they made him look definitely psychotic. The way he looked, he was great at that. And obviously, they had to include the part where he marks all of his victims with the Stanley blade on there. So what did you think about him? The way they portrayed him in this?
A little superpowered for my taste, like that big backflip or whatever. But other than that, I thought it was just fine, because Victor Zsasz isn't that crazy a concept of a villain. He's just a guy who kills a lot of people and has like a cutting fetish for when he does
women especially likes to, killing a lot of women. That's why when they said we'll let them go, especially Barbara, when you see him, he's like, what? So that will give the idea that maybe Victor Zsasz will go in his own way, maybe, and start trying to kill people on his own accord because he didn't like what Falcone's decision was to let
Or
them go.
specifically Barbara, for that matter.
Yes,
Exactly, that might be
exactly.
cool.
My only beef on the Zaz character on the show is his henchwomen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
they-
seem very much like '60s Batman henchmen.
Yeah.
Like, what are these outfits?
Yeah.
What is the hair? What's going on
it was
here?
Drew Barrymore and was it Debbie Rochon in Batman
No,
Forever?
Debbie Mazar.
Debbie Mazar, I get the names
It was
mixed up.
a little that crossed with like the gorgeous ladies of
Absolutely.
wrestling
Yeah.
and a little plasmatics thrown in.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know. I thought I was fine with it. I was just like, you know what? Screw it. This is what I want. More of this. This
No,
is great.
I guess, but I think, the
Yeah.
show up until now hasn't loaned itself to. I mean, like
Yeah.
the overacting of Jada Pinkett Smith is one thing, but the theme outfit henchmen, we haven't quite crossed that line
Yeah.
yet. So that seemed a bit of an abrupt introduction of.
What I like, me being the softie that I am in these shows, I like to be drawn into the personable characters, and I like the relationship between Barbara and Jim. I actually believed that she was sad to leave when she had to leave the town. Like, I didn't think their relationship for me was a little on and off. I actually believed her relationship more with
Montoya.
Montoya. I actually believed them more as I had more of a connection. But then when she left, I actually was drawn into the scene. I felt kind of bad for her that she go, but I could have put my house on it that she was going to come back.
And I really am enjoying that we're getting a deeper Bullock. That he's
Yes.
not just a
Yes.
sort of two-dimensional corrupt cop, that clearly he has internal conflicts about what side he thinks he's on and
Right.
whether or not what he thinks is the right thing and if he's doing that.
No, it's actually really, really fun because his back is, again, just right up against the wall.
Yeah.
He's in such conflict with Gordon here. And yet when he realizes that, well, I might as well do the right thing because I once wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, that last episode really set up this episode in a really organic, dramatic way. I also like the scene where he's clearly having like one last night on the town and then shows up at
Duchess?
Yeah, he shows up with Duchess. It reminded me of that scene from, this is a deep cut, it reminded me of that scene from The Dark Backward where Bill Paxton shows up and it's got, no? Okay.
That's a movie I've tried to mentally just
Okay,
forget I ever saw.
just bringing a woman who is
But I know what you're
who's
talking
a
about.
lady of the evening, if not in profession, then certainly by choice. Just coming in, it's like, come on, we're gonna have sex on Gordon's bed because he's a dick. You know, like that's great. That's just great.
So will there be more of that next week? We'll see. But I hope you'll join us to find out.
There's more of that.